Hello there everyone, Raj here. I hope all of you are doing really well. In today's video I'll be sharing with you the fragrances that I've worn this week. This is a Scents of the Week video, and yeah, all the fragrances I've worn from Monday through to today, which is Sunday. I've done a few videos like this before, so if you want to check out the playlist, which this one will obviously be part of, I'll leave the link down below and you can look back at prior videos where I show fragrances I've worn throughout the week and how things have maybe changed in terms of maybe my taste or fragrances that I've just been trying. And I know it's a good way of getting a lot of fragrances into one video, so hopefully that's something for you to enjoy. Okay, so let's get into the first fragrance, starting off with Monday. Right, so I started the week off quite strong with a vintage fragrance from the house of Christian Dior. This one is Dior Homme. As you can see here, the silver stem and the silver collar there. It's kind of a giveaway. There's lots of different things you can try and identify with vintage bottles, whether it be the stem or the batch codes obviously, but I'm not going to go into all of that detail too much. But what I can say is I hadn't worn this fragrance in a long time, so I had a long break from it, and I always have enjoyed Dior Homme, but I don't know what it is about just putting a fragrance away and then coming back to it after a long time, which probably I think probably just makes you just appreciate it a little bit more, that kind of long period of time of not trying something. And while I still do prefer Dior Homme Intense, I just love how this is so delicately balanced. There's a subtlety, but it's also got depth and very noticeable, this fragrance as well, in terms of the notes that come off your skin. Powdery, sweet, earthy as well. There's that cocoa note in there, which is just so not overly done, not overly sweet, not too sickly sweet, but just adds that just right amount of depth into this fragrance. Nice dry woods I find in here. It's a touch of maybe like a baby powder, kind of fresh powdery feel there too, mixed in with a kind of like that waxy iris note, which is really, it just keeps you kind of, it's very warm and it's enveloping, and it keeps you going back for more. And I actually wore this a few times this week in the evenings after coming home from work, just chilling out, and it felt really great to just wear this while just relaxing in the evening. Great start to the week. Dior Homme, I know that they have renamed this to Dior Homme Original. I've never tried that version, but if you guys have, let me know. The second fragrance, and this is giving you guys a little peek into an upcoming haul video, so I will show this one. It is a recent purchase from the house of Cartier, and this one is Pasha de Cartier. This one is a vintage bottle. This is the Eau de Toilette version. I did a comparison a long time ago, where I compared this modern day version, so a modern day version of this, to the Parfum version. And actually what was interesting, now having worn this vintage for just a couple of times, is that the spiciness, that kind of almost like what you find in Declaration, that spiced woods, almost cumin-like, was not really to be found in this one. This one had a more fresher feel. It actually felt a little bit more sweeter, and it had less of that kind of deodorant feel that I think the modern day version has. But either way, all the variations are all great. I think the Parfum is nice. This vintage bottle is fantastic. It's got that kind of fresh out the shower, green, mossy, lavender, aromatic feel, but with some sweet notes in there. It has a grooming product feel to it, but not done in a way that I feel that cheapens this fragrance. It actually feels quite classy, this fragrance. Very mass appealing in terms of the scent as well, so I think anyone can really, I think this feels very modern actually in today's sort of fragrance market. And don't really know, I think the Eau de Toilette is still available. I don't really know whether it sells very well. I think this one came out in 1992. I didn't really check all the details, but still fits in, I think, really nicely into what could be a modern man's fragrance wardrobe. Have you tried this? Have you tried the modern version, the vintage version? Let me know. Okay, moving on to Wednesday, and this one, you know, I was looking at all of my samples and decants and realizing I have just like a silly amount that I really need to wear or finish off, and just not just allowed to just sit there and do nothing. And basically this one I found, and it just caught my eye because I hadn't worn this in a very, very long time. I've had this for a long time. It's probably not going to focus, but this is from Ormonde Jayne. This is Orris Noir, Eau de Parfum 10 ml. I don't think the brand does these travel sprays anymore, but I've always felt like these types of sprays are like 7.5 ml, 10 ml, are great ways of just making your fragrances a lot more accessible. So I think more brands should do things like this. If you like Ormonde Man, you'll probably like this one. It has a lot of similarities. I don't think this fragrance is around. I think it has been discontinued. I couldn't see it on their website when I had a look. But what this one does is it has that Ormonde Jayne sort of DNA that was quite sort of prevalent in a lot of the more modern, earlier releases rather than her more modern creations, where you have this dryness, this pink pepper, almost like a dry vetiver with this kind of iso-y super note that added this kind of airy cedarwood, dry cedarwood feel, which gave the fragrance a lot of projection actually. And the performance on this is great. But then it's mixed in with a almost chocolate-like kind of powdery, silky, buttery iris note in there, or Orris butter you could say. It's really, really good. It's not like it's not like a dominant with iris, but it's in there. And I don't even think this is. It's got noir in the name, but it's not like too dark and bold. It's quite nicely balanced actually, and it sat on my skin quite nicely and just lasted all day, and it was really, really good. Good to rediscover this fragrance. I don't know if you guys have tried this. Let me know if you have, if you liked it or disliked it. As I said, don't think it's around, but Ormonde Jayne. Also, what are your thoughts on Ormonde Jayne? Is there anything from the house that I need to check out? I haven't tried her fragrances in a long time. Going on to Thursday, and this fragrance, not my favorite. I've only worn it once, but I've got a couple samples and I'm going to give it a fair shot. But first impressions weren't exactly that great. This is from Chanel. This is Allure Homme Sport Superleggera. So working off sample here. I've got a couple of these. You know, look, I've dropped it. This one is, you know, it has mass appeal. It has that kind of bright start that the Allure Homme Sport line has, but it also, you know, and it's not my favorite fragrance really, to be honest, Allure Homme Sport, especially the Eau Extreme version. It does have that kind of, it smells a little bit sort of cheap actually, like a cheaper fragrance I should say, not cheap, but a cheaper fragrance. Like if somebody like Issey Miyake, they did this as a flanker of L'Eau d'Essai Pour Homme and sold it, or you got it at a discount for like, I don't know, £30. I could kind of understand it. There's nothing wrong with mass appealing, but this is supposed to be Chanel. This is supposed to be an expensive fragrance. I found that opening blast very nondescript. It was like a blob of aroma chemically smells that didn't smell particularly sparkling. Apparently this is supposed to have grapefruit, but you know, if you want a sparkling opening at something fresh, I would go to Guerlain's Aqua Allegoria line. Whereas this one, look, it's not like I necessarily have a major problem with the fragrance. I just have a problem with this, the execution and the quality of the materials at this price point, and I don't think it's great, but I only have worn it once. I actually did think it improved a little bit as it dried down. I quite like that kind of laundry detergent musk feel, some dry woods. Again, kind of a little bit, it feels a bit of like a lazy attempt actually, but that's just my first impression. I will give it, you know, as I said, kind of liked it a little bit more as it went on, but nothing particularly fantastic. But have you guys tried this one? Let me know. Alright, so the next day I went for definitely a better fragrance and a vintage miniature. I might have a full bottle on the way, so stay tuned for a whole video. This is from Givenchy, and this is Xeryus. This is obviously a tiny 5 ml, I think, or yeah, probably about 5 ml. I do quite like these miniatures. A great way of getting your nose onto fragrances that are hard to find, discontinued, or older formulations, because I think this fragrance is still around, or certainly Xeryus Rouge is still around. I'm not sure they rebranded it, I don't know, but beautiful fragrance, aromatic fougere, green, mossy. It's the usual kind of style like you'll find in a Dracar Noir kind of feel, but this one, I need to check the note breakdown, but I feel that there might be a nutmeg note in here, which has a dry, warm, sensual spice without coming across like a cooking spice. It's quite, it's really good. It has a dry woods, spicy feel, and it's a little bit smoky as well, but it's not like super bracing and in your face like maybe Gucci Nobile is. It's kind of like in between Nobile and Dracar Noir. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I've only got a small amount, and I've worn this a few times, but I don't have a huge amount of experience. But I liked it a lot, actually. I really liked it a lot. Givenchy Xeryus. Have you guys tried this one? Do you have a bottle, a vintage bottle? How did it compare with I think it was called the Mythique, the Creations Mythique version, which came in a clearer bottle. Did you think there were differences? There probably were. But yeah, really great fragrance. On to Saturday, and I wore, again, a fragrance that I haven't worn in a long time, and I'm kind of just looking to finish it off, really. So this is from Roja Parfum. This is the Parfum Cologne version of Enigma, or Creation E, that is known, I think, in just North America, I think it is. And yeah, I really like this fragrance. It's I found quite easy to like. I used to have this in the now discontinued Eau de Parfum, which came in a very, very different style of bottle, much more plainer. And then I felt that the Eau de Parfum had a little bit more body, and I prefer it. But the Parfum Cologne does still take what is kind of a simple formula in many ways. You know, it's been done before: booze and woods and rum and cognac and vanilla. It's quite like, you know, people talk about sitting in a leather chair, smoking a cigar, smelling a fragrance like this, and I get that. And you know, fragrances like Jazz Club and maybe Bentley for Men Intense, they're all different in their own ways. But they try to do that kind of gentleman's private members club kind of feel. It's a beautiful fragrance. That Coca-Cola spiciness is kind of addictive, actually. The opening of this fragrance I love a lot, and it lasts a long time. It is very much a nighttime fragrance, I feel. Great scent. Would I buy this in the Parfum Cologne version? I don't know with the current prices, but you never know. I think I got this for free, actually, when I bought Scandal Pour Homme off their website. So to be fair, you know, they give out discovery atomizers at the time anyway. Whether they do that now, I'm not sure, but definitely a good fragrance. I like it a lot. And finally, on to today. I have had for a while now, actually, a few samples here. This is from the company. It's called SCENTS, and I specifically got some samples. I'm probably going to just drop them everywhere, so I'll just show them like this. And this is from Eugene's brand. So this is Les Abstraits, and they come like this. You get like 2 mLs. And the one that I wore is, I just picked it out actually. This one is La Douleur Exquise, and I'm going to do a proper review of this one, Bel Homme and Descendre. I will say that this is probably my favourite one of the trio, and I want to reserve my thoughts until I actually do the video and do the full review, but I like this a lot, like really, really like it. This is probably my favourite one. It has a beautiful development on the skin. It has, I think, excellent, like the ingredients you can feel the quality. I think I said that in one of my recent videos about feeling and perceiving the quality of ingredients, and that is, you know, that will be personal to you and your experiences. But for me, it feels like a top-notch list of materials or you know, palette of materials have been used in this. That rose, earthy, fresh, dewy grassiness, or not like grass, but it smells like an outdoors fragrance, you know, but earthy as well, like really, really earthy, and it just transitions quite nicely on my skin and has a luxurious feel and lasts a long time. I think it's a fantastic fragrance. I really like it a lot. I definitely think it's done in the style of some Frederic Malls. The ones that came to mind were Portrait of a Lady, and also specifically Parfum de Thérèse and Noir Épice. You know, I'm not saying it's like exactly like those, but in some of the notes and the way that it feels like a fine French perfume, which I know Eugene is quite keen on with his taste. Excellent fragrance, I've got to say. So stay tuned to my thoughts, to hear my thoughts on Les Abstraits. I'll hopefully do that in the next, I don't know, few weeks. So guys, that concludes the video, and I really hope you enjoyed watching. I would love to hear what fragrances you wore this week, or a couple of the highlights, or just your scent of the day. And I've been making a lot of content recently, or at least one video a week. So, you know, have a look at all the previous videos that I've been making. And thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.